They say it was the most sacred relic in Christendom. A simple wooden beam. Yet not just any beam. This was the very cross upon which Jesus of Nazareth was crucified. The true cross. It was carried into battle, revered by kings, and believed to hold divine power. But one day, it vanished, and no one truly knows what happened to it. This is not just a story about a missing artifact. This is a story about betrayal, ambition, holy war, and a truth so inconvenient, it was buried beneath centuries of silence. Let's go back. Back to a time when Jerusalem was the beating heart of the Christian world. After the First Crusade captured the city in 1099, a new kingdom was born, the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Among its treasures, one relic stood above all. The true cross, discovered centuries earlier by Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. According to legend, the cross became more than just wood. It was a symbol of divine favor. Crusader kings would carry it into battle like a banner of heaven itself. And when it appeared on the battlefield, soldiers believed no army could defeat them. But faith can be deceiving. On July 4th, 1187, everything changed. The Battle of Hattin, a date etched in blood. King Guy of Lusignan stood with his Crusader army in the blazing heat of the Galilean hills. They were desperate, exhausted, and surrounded. And yet, in their ranks was the true cross, carried high by the Bishop of Acre, wrapped in gold, gleaming under the sun. Across the field stood Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, a military genius, calm, patient, ready. Saladin had lured the Crusaders into a trap. He burned the grasslands around them, cut off their water supplies, and let the sun do the rest. By the time battle came, the Crusader army was broken, physically and spiritually. They say that when the bishop fell, and the cross hit the earth, a scream rose from the Crusader ranks. Not a cry of pain, but of dread. The fall of the cross was like the fall of God's favor. The Crusaders lost, massacred, captured, and the true cross was gone. Saladin took it as a prize, but after that day, no one ever saw it again. Here's where the story becomes shadowed, fragmented, lost in the smoke of history. Some chronicles claim Saladin paraded the cross through Damascus, showing the Muslim world that the Christian God had fallen. Others suggest he broke it apart and scattered the pieces. Some say he buried it or even sent it as a gift to faraway allies. But none of these accounts are certain. In fact, after 1187, the true cross disappears from all reliable records. Gone. As if it never existed. And that's when the theories begin. What if Saladin didn't destroy it? What if he kept it hidden? Not out of reverence, but as a warning to the Christian world. Your God has no power here. Others whisper that a Christian knight, perhaps one of the Templars, recovered the cross in secret. That it was smuggled out of the Holy Land under the cover of night, hidden in a monastery, or buried in the sands of the Sinai to protect it from defilement. More radical theories propose that the cross never left Jerusalem at all, that the relic displayed in battle was a forgery, a copy made to inspire troops, that the real cross had already been hidden by church officials, long before Hattin, knowing the tide of war was turning. But why would such a powerful church relic disappear with so little resistance? Why would there be no papal crusade to retrieve it? No war cries? No divine outrage? Unless the church had something to gain from its disappearance. Imagine this. The cross had become too powerful. Not spiritually, but politically. Whoever held it held influence over all Christendom. Kings bent the knee to it. Armies marched for it. And perhaps some feared that power. Maybe even the Pope himself. So when it vanished, they let it vanish. They rewrote the story, shifted focus, and moved on to other wars, other relics. The silence surrounding the cross is not just about loss. It's about control. Silence can be louder than words. And here's the most chilling part. In the centuries that followed, dozens of churches across Europe claimed to have fragments of the true cross. Tiny splinters, slivers of wood, some no larger than a nail. If you gathered them all, one scholar famously said, you could build an entire ship. Most were fakes. relics made for profit or faith or both. But what if one of them was real? What if a fragment did survive? What if the cross is not gone, but simply waiting, hidden, protected until the world is ready to know? Or perhaps it should never be found, because a symbol so powerful it could unite or divide empires might just be safer in the shadows. Tonight, as you reflect on the wars fought over relics, on the blood spilled in the name of wood and iron, ask yourself, was it ever about the cross? Or was it always about power? The true cross of Jerusalem remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. And perhaps that's exactly how some wanted it. Because in history, what vanishes isn't always lost. Sometimes it's erased. And the silence that follows is the loudest truth of all.